Hey there, vinyl community. Brian the Shamrock'n Records. This is Vinyl Tag 2021. I'm a sucker for the vinyl tag, so I haven't made a video in months. Didn't even know if I was ever going to make a video again. And vinyl tag, completely forgot about the vinyl tag, and here I am. So I had already made a video a couple hours ago, and then I couldn't get it uploaded. I didn't have enough storage. So I was talking to Jonathan, the cheap and cheerful record collector, and he's like, well, now you'll be able to make a better one. I'm like, well, I better go put some pants on if I'm going to be making another video. And now I'm sitting here. You guys have no idea if I'm wearing pants or not. So it might be like that commercial where the guy's doing his conference call and the video falls and the guy's wearing like boxers. Never know, man. So if my camera falls, vinyl tag, you're it. All right, thank you, Andrew. You're the man. I know you've been writing these things for years. So let's get started here with number one. My favorite discovery in 2020. So basically, there was a night a couple months ago where I decided to just kind of go online and look for new music, because I haven't done that in forever, and it's something that I've always liked to do. And I stumbled upon a playlist and discovered Donovan Woods that night. Now, this is the album called Both Ways. Donovan Woods is a singer-songwriter from Canada who's been making music, I think, since like 2007. And the song that really attracted me to him was the last song on the album called Next Year. Now, Next Year pretty much became my go-to song this year. I've listened to that song more than anything. It just really struck a chord with me. And it really just like tells a story. Kind of teaches you a lesson. You know, it's basically about this guy who has a child, and he's, you know, the child's always like, Dad, can we go do this? Can we go do that? And the dad's always like, well, we can do it next year. We'll do it next year. Dad doesn't have money. Dad just lost his job. Dad's truck is broken. We can do it next year. You know, so it goes throughout the story. And then by the end of the story, by the end of the song, the narrator's father is getting sick and passing away. And he's like, I really want to go to the Grand Canyon. And the narrator's like, done. I'm calling out of work. We're packing up the car. We're going to the Grand Canyon. Because you know what? There's not going to be a next year. So it was a really sad song, but it really struck a chord, because I'm a dad, and I know I've said to my daughter, oh, we'll do that next year. So 2021 is going to be the year where maybe I'll just start doing some more things. All right, let's see. Number two, a quarantine buy. I had 1 million. I bought more records this year online than ever. I finally became an eBay buyer. I never bought stuff on eBay. I started buying more stuff on Discogs. And this was the year that I really feel like I made an impact on my collection and really started getting things that I really wanted into my collection. So, with that being said, my quarantine buy is the Saw Doctors, all the way from Tomb. This is the last Saw Doctors record that I needed for my collection. I had it on CD, but I needed this on vinyl. Band from Ireland. This is something that's been very hard to get. I hadn't found a copy for less than $200. I finally found a copy for less than $100, and I jumped on it. And it's just absolutely one of my favorite bands. It's one of my favorite records. and very excited to finally get this into the collection. Some Irish rock with some traditional Celtic leanings in it. It's just killer stuff. A record I want to find in 2021. One of my biggest grails is Magic Time by Van Morrison. It was released in the early 2000s, so it was really just not really highly pressed, and I believe it's his last great record. Let's see, a box set, Traveling Wilburys. So basically, this contains both of the Traveling Wilbury records, and then it also, which you don't really need to see those, but this is the little added bonus. It's a little 12-inch EP. It has like 6 songs on it, remixes and whatnot. But yeah, that's my box set. Let's see here, a concept album. So I think I've shown this before for this same question, but I just love this record. It's The Crane Wife by the Decemberists. This is the record that got me into the Decemberists. Probably in the early 2000s. I don't really remember when this came out. But it basically is based on an old Japanese folktale. It also has some, I guess, something about like William Shakespeare's The Tempest, I guess, is kind of blended into it as well. Let's see here. Number 6, an artist that changed direction. This record pissed so many people off. I'm kind of shocked nobody's shown this yet in the VC. It's one of the first ones I thought of. It's when Dylan went electric, if you didn't know. But I have a feeling everybody pretty much knows. But he changed and pissed a lot of people off, but it's such a great record. Let's see here. A white label promo. I have a good chunk of white label promos, but I'm going to show this one because I just want to piss Jonathan, Cheap and Cheerful Record Collector, off, because he really wants to get this from me. And I've been trying to trade this to him for his Nick Drake box set. So, Jonathan, here it is. It's minty minty. It doesn't get better than that. All right, let's see. A compilation record. Now, we're listening to John Prine right now. I just picked this up, and it's one of his, the new reissue. Another great reissue, but we'll get to that. But, speaking of John Prine, this is a John Prine tribute record. This came out 10 years ago. It's released in 2010. It's a bunch of newer indie folk artists doing John Prine songs. You know, you got the Avett Brothers, Old Crow Medicine Show, My Morning Jacket, Those Darlings, Deer Tick, Drive-By Truckers, Josh Ritter. Fantastic record. Like I said, it came out in 2010. And although I was familiar with John Prine at the time, this record introduced me to more songs of his, which kind of got me even more into John Prine. So, yeah, it's a fantastic record, and you can still get it, and it's on Oh Boy Records, so I highly recommend it, especially if you're a fan of those, like, newer indie folk artists. Let's see, a record that I have a story about. I don't know if it's the greatest of stories, but Saves the Day. It's pop punk, was it late 90s? 1999. Emo, pop punk. My friend Ashton was in a band back then, and we were really good buddies, and they were opening up for Saves the Day and Bane in Albany, New York, at a place called Valentine's. And Ashton was like, dude, can you run my merch table? And I was like, yeah, sure, that's cool, you know. So Ashton is now not doing music, but Ashton has actually gone on to make movies. Ashton is Ashton Holmes, and he's been in like The History of Violence and Smart People and just a ton of TVs and movies. But at the time, he was, just one of my good buddies and the singer of a band, and he had me selling his CDs and stuff at the merch table, and at the merch table was Chris selling his stuff for Saves the Day. And so got to sit next to Chris, who pretty much that night he had that same face and was kind of a jerk, kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. But you know what? I've always kind of dug this record, and the song Rocks Tonic Juice Magic I love. So yeah, that's the time I got to sit next to Chris at a merch table. Let's see. La la la. Number 10, a record that needs a vinyl pressing. Two of my favorite records are not on vinyl, and it's Stephen Kellogg and the Sixers, self-titled, and the other one that I really want on vinyl is a singer-songwriter named Titer, and the record is called Poetry and Airplanes. Those are two that need pressings. Let's see. Number 11, a common album and an uncommon album. So I'm gonna go with the same band, and I'm gonna say X, and this is their common album. And then I'm gonna go with the Knitters, which is X, but they're a country band. But here they are. And this is just a killer record that I'd never ever hear anybody talk about. It's X playing country music. It is awesome. If you're into like alt country, yeah, I mean it's killer. I mean, if you like X, check this out. And I just never hear anybody talking about that record. Let's see, an EP. This is an EP by the Waterboys called Puck's Blues, and it came out several years ago for a record store day. And they do 4 songs, stripped down from their record Modern Blues, and this is the cover of Modern Blues. But they do 4 songs from Modern Blues, and they're like acoustic demos. And I had actually heard this before I heard Modern Blues, and this blew me away. So I highly recommend, if you're a Waterboys fan and you don't have this, go out and grab it. It is amazing. A girl group. Let's see, number 13, girl group. I'm going to go with one of my favorite girl groups, since Those Darlings. Those Darlings put out in the early 2000s, mid 2000s. This probably came out around 2009. This is their alt country record. Here they are. And this is an absolute ripper. This thing kicks ass. Think if like the old 97s were girls. I mean, this is incredible. Unfortunately, what was it? Oh gosh, I forgot her name. Jessie, I believe. Jessie Darlin, the singer, passed away in 2017 of cancer. So, but a record is, oh my god, such a ripper of a record. An album cover I love. This came out when I was in high school, and I was always just drawn to this artwork. I always thought this artwork was really awesome. I don't know why. I just love this cover. And the back is even kind of cool. Very simple. But I just love this artwork on this record. Red Hot Chili Peppers, Blood Sugar Sex Magic. An album I listen to the most. I'm not going with a record that I've listened to the most in my life, you know. But I am going to do an album I've listened to the most this year. and that would be The Sound of White by Missy Higgins. Missy Higgins is a pop singer-songwriter from Australia, and this came out in 2005 originally. I had it on CD when it first came out, and then I recently found out, like within the last 2 years, that it was pressed on vinyl, and I just loved the CD. I loved the CD. I had to get this on record, and it just means a lot to me. There's a lot of emotions tied to this record for me. A lot of I don't know, a lot of memories tied to this record, and I've literally listened to this so much over the last 2 years. So just absolutely love this record. Missy Higgins. Piano player, like I said, she's poppy, so like she's kind of like a Sarah Bareilles or like a Ingrid Michaelson or something. Her voice, her songwriting, I just love it. All right, a record I need an OG of, or I had to get an OG copy of. Well, I got this new Rhino reissue of Jane's Addiction, Nothing Shocking. And I was very excited to get this because it's something I've needed and wanted in my collection. Like I said, this year is the year I've been trying to go out because, you couldn't really go out and dig a ton. I was buying more things online, so I was being more choosy and picky and just filling all the holes in my collection this year. And as a 90s fan, going to high school and college in the 90s, a lot of these 90s records really just mean a ton to me. This actually was late 80s, but it was played all the time in the 90s. But I was so excited to get this, and then I spun it, and I was kind of disappointed. I thought it kind of sounded flat and kind of just muddy, and I didn't think it had a great sound to it, so I was really kind of disappointed, but I was pumped that I had it. And less than a month later, going through a used bin at Bull Moose, they just bought this crazy 80s collection, and what do I find? An original Jane's Nothing Shocking. So freaking excited. I got it for $12, and the thing is incredible looking. So it's got the original inner. I don't need to pull it all out for you, but sounds so much better than that Rhino reissue. So very excited to have those. All right. Number 17, the last album I purchased. I went out digging today with Jonathan. We went out in Portland, and I picked up 3 records, so I'll show them off quickly. Picked up Pleasant Dreams by the Ramones. So I needed that. It's not the greatest copy. I got it really cheap. I got it for $5 because it's got some damage to the cover here. But the record looks dirty, but didn't look scratched or anything. So I'm gonna try and clean it up, and if I can't, I'll just sell it. I'll just get rid of it. And then I was really excited about these next 2. This is Alcatraz, Disturbing the Peace. It's the only Alcatraz record I've wanted in my collection. It's the only one I've ever listened to or had. I had it on cassette as a kid. But the main reason why I've always had this record is that Steve Vai is the lead guitar player on this record. It's so good. And Graham Bonnet, from like Rainbow, was the lead singer. This is a gem. If you're going to check out an Alcatraz record, this is the one in my opinion. So it's the only one I need. But here you go. Steve Vai, Graham Bonnet. Boom. And then the one that I was wicked excited about, as soon as I walked into the shop, I could see, as soon as I walked in, boom, it's just bright yellow on the wall. Original Anthrax, State of Euphoria. I could not leave there without this record today. So I actually had a t-shirt when I was a kid in like 7th grade. I had a t-shirt with this on the front of the t-shirt. Wish I still had it. But Anthrax, State of Euphoria. Let's see. an album they don't get, but I get. It's kind of funny. I thought this was a really hard question, and then I thought about a certain band that I feel like people of my age group, I'm in my 40s, people of my age group and younger kids just don't agree. Like people like millennials, kids in their 20s, we just don't see eye to eye on Radiohead. And this is my Radiohead. Pablo Honey, the Bends. I love those records. But I've worked and have had friends that are much younger than me that just do not get this record because they like In Rainbows and all those newer Radiohead records. I can't get into those, but I sure as hell love this record. This is my favorite Radiohead record. I was addicted to this in high school. So, Pablo Honey, Radiohead. Punk. That's pretty punk. Enough said, right? And let's see, my favorite 2020 reissue. So I've been playing John Prine, and I can't leave this out. This is one of those records that I've been waiting for to come out, and it finally did. And Chris Bellman never disappoints. This just sounds absolutely incredible. But I swear to God, this is the year of the reissue. I got two more here I just want to show. Record Store Day, third drop. I put two. Peace? Peace. Three, the third drop. 1, 2, 3. The third drop had one record that I really needed. I didn't see anybody online, anybody in the VC talk about this record at all. I was like, shit, man. But it's the only one I really wanted. This and that Chris Cornell 7-inch. But Mila Jovovich, The Divine Comedy, I had been waiting for this record for so long to get pressed on vinyl. I love this record. Came out when I was a senior in high school. I had the CD when this first came out. There's Mila. You guys know she's the actress. But I'll tell you, this record is sublime. I tell you, it is gorgeous. I believe she's from the Ukraine, and she does a lot of Ukrainian folk sounds in this record. But it's also, like pop. So it's like Tori Amos, Bjork. If you're into those kind of like female artists from the 90s, Bjork, Tori Amos. But then it has this really nice worldly feel to it. It has some Celtic sounds, just like this Ukrainian folk. I love this record. I'm so glad it finally got an American pressing. The only pressing it had prior to that was a pressing in Greece. I had heard that it didn't sound really good, but I'll tell you, the last time I saw it go earlier this year for $300 and something bucks on Discogs, and it went like that, and I couldn't believe how quickly it went. And it's just something I've really been wanting. And another record that I just love, and I'm so excited it got a reissue, was Sunny Side Up by Paolo Nutini. Paolo Nutini is a Scottish singer-songwriter. Blue Eyed Soul. He got his start, not his start, but he got his big break opening for the Rolling Stones many, many years ago, probably 15 years ago. He was like a 18, 19-year-old kid opening for, stadium tours for the Stones. But was his second record, and although the cover art is just kind of corny and cheesy, and it just does not look like the music that you hear on this record. This record, like I said, he's like a blue-eyed soul singer, but he does many different genres on this. There's like rock, and there's folk. Like he does a song that sounds like freaking Cat Stevens. Like if I'd didn't know who it was, I'd be like, is that a new Cat Stevens song? Um, Rod Stewart sounding. There's reggae. I mean, every song on this changes genre. There's a Celtic sounding song. It's just, it's such a great, 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 great record, and I'm so excited that they finally released it, and it sounds wonderful. But anyway, thank you everybody for watching. Subscribe, because maybe I'll start making videos again. But I've been enjoying all these vinyl tag videos. I'm getting to get introduced to some of the newer channels here, and thanks for always being there, VC, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers.